What's up, YouTube? This video is a response to a question I got from another user who wanted to know if I had any, insights in terms of interracial dating. Um, so this video is really for this user, but hopefully other people will watch it, and share their opinions and share their insight. Um, so, anyways, to answer your question, I'm not really sure what you know. I'm not really sure what you've heard. So all I can do is tell you what I know. And pretty much throughout my years, I realized that there's four types of non-black women that date black men. Number one, your first type, you have the group of women who just want to explore the myth of black men. The whole Mandingo complex. Hopefully that's enough said for that one. They're going after what their moms and dads said that they should never do, right? So it's a really short phase. When I was in my first year and second year in college, I would encounter these type of women. They were excited just because you were black. It didn't really matter that you were in college. Just the fact that you were black was enough. They just wanted to kick it with you, hang out, sleep with you and all that other shit. But when they got serious, they went back to their own camp, right? They were just having fun. They said, oh, enough's enough. Let me put on, the long dress and straighten my act up and bounce. So you had that group. Your second group, this group is, in my opinion, the most common one. Is you have a group of non-black women who are pretty much kicked out of their own community, maybe because they're single mothers. They don't fall into the standard of beauty that a particular race has for its women. Because each group of men, they have their preference. If you speak to enough dudes, people like what they like. They look for different qualities in women, right? It doesn't seem that apparent, especially if you're a woman, but they do. So the preference that an Asian man will have will probably be different in subtle ways than that of a Mexican man. There'll be some similarities, but there'll be key differences. For instance, a black dude is not going to be, an Asian dude is not really going to be that heavy on a woman having, a nice bottom, as opposed to maybe, a black man or a Hispanic man. Who knows? But pretty much, these women are kicked out for various reasons. I did a video about, oversexed women, and that's not a quality that any group of men has. So if a woman is deemed to be oversexed, the men of a particular group are probably not going to embrace them or find them desirable. But unfortunately, black men are known, since we're at the bottom, I guess, it's cool to be an oversexed woman because we'll accept you anyways. And then the example I like to use is Kim Kardashian, right? In my eyes, she'll probably never be able to, get with a traditional Armenian type dude. For two reasons. A, she has the Ray J sex tape. If that does, I think that will ruin anybody, honestly. But that, and her body is seen as odd. As a black man, we like, she has the, she's thick, she has the big top, the big, big booty. But non-black men, a lot of them will find that odd. If they had to pick a chick, right, she might not be the first choice. Or if they had to design their perfect chick, she's probably not going to be built like Kim Kardashian. Whereas if a black man, built a woman, right, she would have features similar to Kim Kardashian. So there's a reason why, she likes black men. That's why she's with Reggie Bush. She has a sex tape, which is a no-no, and her body is not necessarily stereotypical to what their group of men like, or other non-black men like. Then you have your third type. This type, they exist. And this is the type, honestly, they're not hoes, they're not sluts, they just like black men. They, they like the black man's skin, like they're just physically attracted to black men. It doesn't mean that they're hoes, But they like the confidence, they like all that stuff. So that's what they like. And these women tend to marry. Also, they tend to marry black men. They have the whole suburb family. That's why I'm around. Growing up in the suburbs, you had your interracial families where, the woman or the mom, and they're mainly white or Hispanic, they just like black men for whatever reason. So they would choose a family-oriented black men simply because they're family-oriented and they like black men. Um, so, that's a good group. I don't really have a problem with that group. And then you have your fourth group, and this is probably like the smallest and rarest group. You have those who love black culture, not necessarily African American culture, but maybe African culture, right? Or Afro Caribbean or Afro something culture, right? They like African studies. Um, when I took a couple of my African history classes in college, you always had the South American chick or, the Bohemian white chick who just loved black culture, you know what I mean? And they tended to like, African men more than anything, but they kind of liked black men who were well cultured, who ate a certain food, who dressed a certain way. And, 9 times out of 10, these dudes were African. Um, and not necessarily Americanized. I'm Nigerian, but I'm more Americanized than I would say, I am Nigerian, even though I honor both sides equally. So you have that group. So, pretty much, through my experiences, those are the 4 categories that I've come to encounter. The first 2, you kind of want to, I don't want to say stray away from, but you have to know what you're getting yourself into. And the later 2 are pretty cool. That's what I'm open to now, because I don't really have a problem with their choice for dating, me or other black men. So I hope, that kind of answered your question. So, but other than that, take it easy.